let's stick in D2 for a little bit. Ferris State, they add a D1 opponent to their 2023 schedule, fellas. They released their schedule today, Thursday, as we're recording this. I'll pull it up here on the big screen for us to take a look at. And here is the schedule in 2023 for the Bulldogs. Now, right off the bat, August 31st versus Mercyhurst. I was not expecting that one. Mercyhurst was 1-9 last year, and I'm pretty sure they gutted their entire coaching staff. They don't come from a great league. And
where is that?
I believe Pennsylvania, I want to say. I believe Pennsylvania, because my old boss, my SID, is at Mercyhurst, which is why I at least know a little bit about them. And I know enough to know their football team is not great. So
tune-up for Ashland.
What's up?
That's a tune-up for Ashland.
A tune-up for Ashland. Okay, yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you are right. So going from Mercyhurst to Ashland, who was...
Ashland, a tune-up for Montana.
And then...
That's a hell of a tune-up.
Montana, a tune-up for Northern Michigan.
Funham Gray.
But in all seriousness, Ashland, that was a tough one. Ashland, top 10 team last year for maybe 3 or 4 weeks in a row. Like, they were on the top of those polls. Ended up getting beat by Hillsdale, which was a kind of a shock to everyone in that conference.
Lake Erie, too.
They did. So,
which was weird.
Very inconsistent
we beat
play
the shit
from
out
them.
of Lake Erie. So, really, we better than Ashland.
Really inconsistent play out of them. I don't want to play that game, but Ashland's been a solid squad, and they're going to be a solid team next year. So you bring in Ashland. Mercyhurst, like I said, is kind of a questionable one. But then Montana, September 16th, that's the one we're going to talk about, right? So, and also you have to add in there American International, which I believe Grand Valley played last year and thumped. So I don't know what their story is. I can't really speak on their situation.
But they're coming to Ferris, so they come to get their ass beat.
Exactly. So anyways, we were kind of on this. We uploaded the video 6 months ago. I posted a clip of it to Twitter earlier today, so hopefully you guys saw that one. But basically, I'll reference the same article I referenced when we were making that video from FBSschedules.com, talking about how the Grizzlies, however, added Ferris to their schedule. They're going to host them in Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula, Montana on Saturday, September 16th. And this is what we had talked about, the $175,000 guarantee for playing the game. Again, according to this website, they had supposedly seen a copy of the contract. I don't know how much I buy that, but I don't think that number's crazy unrealistic for that level of, that level of school.
I would say it's pretty
I don't
realistic.
know. The website is kind of, because in a situation that I'm in, you look at people's schedules. Like, you can't go on somebody's schedule right now and see their schedule for the most part. But, like, I promise you, like, majority of you go see an entire team's schedule. Division I for the most part, whether it's FCS or FBS. You can see somebody's whole schedule, and it hasn't been released yet.
Yeah.
And when you go on Montana, you know what I'm saying, you'll see Ferris State.
Yeah. So, crazy. I mean, you're just trying to say, like, they're on their shit.
Usually they're correct.
So I don't know who's supplying them or they got sources, but they're somewhere.
Not a money part. I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
But for, like, most part, like, who plays who, they be on their shit.
And they were on it. So I'm glad we trusted them to begin with. Imagine playing in this stadium, fellas. Holy shit.
That's an FBS stadium. I guess
really,
when you're in Montana,
like,
you can do whatever you want.
Right? I mean, it ain't no shortage of land. You can make it as big as you want, right?
And then who else in Montana? Everybody going to the game.
There's not much going on.
That's the whole state.
Not much else going on, man.
That's the whole state in that stadium right now. That's the whole state of Montana.
So when they had...
And a couple Idahoans.
When they had game day out there, do you remember it was Montana versus Montana State for game day? Now, Montana, I believe, was at one point like number 14 in the country for FCS. So this is not like some, low-level FCS team.
They're
It's
good
a
year
pity.
in, year out.
Exactly. They're consistently good, which is important. And then they lost in the second round of the playoffs to NDSU, who went to the national championship. And then their rival, Montana State, was number 3 or 4
Yeah, Montana State is crazy.
And they went all the way to the semifinal game, right, in which they lost to South Dakota State. There you go.
The Jackrabbits.
So a lot of good football there in Montana. Is it all that steer wrestling? You just really like those type of muscles? I mean, imagine this. Full-ass cow coming at you. You grab it, and you're turning and twisting it to the ground. How does that compare to a defensive lineman? Riddle me that.
It has nothing to do with steer wrestling.
Montana
when you have the entire state.
You don't think so?
The entire state of Montana is in that stadium right now because Montana State playing away. They probably don't even. They just root for whoever.
They just
in
switch
the
out
state.
the shirt. Whoever's
they
home
root
that
for
weekend.
Whoever in the state. It's like the Clippers and the Lakers. You one night you a Clippers fan, the next night you a Lakers fan. You just love LA. They just love Montana so much. When you got a whole state rooting for you like that, Montana and Montana State are Alabama and Auburn to them.
Yeah, that's a great. I think that's a pretty good point actually.
So when you got the whole state root, because what else is in Alabama? Don't even say it.
I ain't even been.
Montana is just nothing but mountains and probably coyotes. And some grizzlies too, probably, since they're the Grizzlies.
So.
And Bobcats too, because of Montana. You know what I'm saying? Like,
to refute your argument, no, not all Montanians. How do you
Montanians?
Montanians. Not all of them are steer wrestlers. I would like to get the percentage of how many offensive linemen did steer wrestling as they grew up.
Or like farmers or something. Like just like working.
What do you think that percentage would be? Because I probably won't, but I'd like to find that out. I think it's over 60% of those guys have done steer wrestling growing up.
Okay.
Realistic?
Sure. Or like any of that stuff. Like that cowboy, like
rodeo. Like rodeo.
Rodeo.
That's the word. Because Pat McAfee, I don't know if you saw, he did some of that when he was there for game day.
Yeah.
Electric. It was awesome. I've covered some rodeos up here in the UP.
I got rodeos up here?
We got rodeos up
How
here.
How you steer wrestle on ice?
They're interesting for sure. I'll give them that. But anyways, rounding out the schedule for Ferris, you have all the obvious league opponents, and that starts with us September 30th. So they have a bye week.
Have a bye.
It looks
That's
like,
smart.
right?
That's very smart.
Especially coming off of a game like of that caliber.
Go to Montana. It's not like you're going.
That's also true. Travel times. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Across the nation.
Yeah, which obviously, I mean, they'll be flying to that one. If you're getting 175 grand,
yes,
right?
They're flying to that one.
Yeah, okay, I would assume so.
I don't know, man. They might save some money getting on the bus.
That's what I don't know.
Deion was talking about like the HBCUs, Alabama, or I think it was Alabama State had got flew out by UCLA. They gave him $1 million, and they spent all the money on travel. Didn't even profit from the game. Spent all the money on travel and hotels and feeding the kids to get their ass beat by 60. I will put them children on the bus.
I feel like the
make
bus,
you hungrier.
At a certain point, the bus might be more expensive. Think about
gas.
Like gas.
I would. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know enough.
You gotta get more.
So they would have to treat me like a stripper and fly me out there. You want us to play? You're gonna have to fly us out. Because Ferris State a bad bitch. Back-to-back national champs. That ain't no normal. That ain't no IG model.
They're being courted by a lot of teams probably. I'm saying this. I would assume is not the first FCS team to ask to play them, right? With the
state they've had. D1 like recently?
I don't think so.
No,
right? And
would you want to put Ferris on your schedule?
It's a lose. Like
because you like, all right, I'm going to play a D2 team.
It's a lose-lose.
That's a tune-up. That's like somebody scheduling South Dakota State next year. You don't want that on your schedule.
Yeah, like you're talking about like a major like FBS team scheduling South Dakota State. Yeah, because then you win and you're like, okay, yeah, they were supposed to beat them, or then you lose.
Oh my god,
the world's over, right?
If like think about it, like I say, the whole state of Montana is going to those games. You lose to Ferris State, you got all the Big Rapids and Montanians in your stadium. You got to think about it.
There's not much
Montana.
Big Rapids.
They probably don't have. They don't have no internet.
Who is there travels well though.
They do.
They showed out to McKinney, Texas too for their 2 national championships.
Listen, Montana probably don't have no internet, no car, newer than 1987.
You think there's just a bunch of Amish people out there?
When they lose to Ferris, if they lose to, I ain't gonna say win.
I'm saying win.
If they lose to Ferris, imagine when them kids find out it's something called a transfer portal. They just gonna all go play for Tony and East.
Well, thankfully, they won't be finding out on Twitter, apparently.
They got 2015s. They got apartments. They don't have to live in a hut no more. They don't have to walk 3 miles to get to the stadium.
You funny.
They go to school for real now. Montana not even a real place. Show me somebody who been in Montana, I'll show you a ferry.
You funny.
I'm trying not to do the crazy ass.
Yeah.
I'm finna start wearing my shades. Funny.